Good morning, my dear students. I welcome you for this session, that is second semester. Today in this session we will start with the English subject, lesson number 1, unit 1. Name of the chapter is Writing About Writing. You write many things, but there is certain pattern how to write. When you write essay, when you write letter, or you write any story, certain formats are there to write the particular matter. So in this chapter we will see how we write the summary, how we write the story with the examples. Now see, the story is given of, read the name of the story, Strong Desire, Wise Action. From which book this story is taken? From The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Who has written this story? Mark Twain. And part 1, and after that we will see part 2. See children, Saturday morning came. All the summer world was bright and fresh and full of life. Tom appeared in front of the house with paint and a big brush. He looked at the fence, and all joy left him. A deep sadness settled upon his heart. The fence was long and high. The fence was too long. He wet the brush and moved it along the top board. He did it again and did it again. He looked at what he had done. The painted part was very, very small. The whole fence was very large. He sat down. He felt that he could not continue. The fence was too long and it was too high, so he felt that he will be able to do or not, so he sat down. Jim, a boy who worked for the family, came through the gate. He was going to get water and he was singing happily. Tom said, "Jim, I will get the water if you will paint." Jim said, "No, I must get the water." See, now he didn't want to paint, so he told Jim that I will bring water for you and you paint this wall. Are you afraid of Aunt Polly? She won't hurt you. She talks about it, but talk never hurts. It never hurts except when she weeps also. You should not be afraid of her, Jim. I will give you one of my playthings, and I will show you my foot. I will show you where I hurt it. Now see what excuses Tom is giving, that I have hurt my foot and I will give you my playthings, means toys. Please, you paint for me. Jim was only human. He took the plaything and he put his head down to look at the foot. In another moment, he was running down the street. Tom was painting as fast as possible, and Aunt Polly was returning to the house. Now see, he was not ready to paint. He took the toy and he went away. This was part 1. Now see, Strong Desire, Wise Action from The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Part 2. What happened in part 2? Tom kept working, but soon he began to think of the fun planned for this day. He and Huck had planned to race down the river and go swimming. His hands moved more slowly. Soon the other boys would come and laugh at him for working. From his pocket he took everything that he owned. He looked at it. There was nothing of real value. It was not enough to buy another boy's help. Now he had nothing in his pocket to give to his friend and tell him to do work for him. At this dark moment, a wonderful idea came to him. It was like a great bright light. He took his brush and went quickly to work. Ben Rogers appeared soon. Tom had been specially afraid of Ben's laugh. Ben was eating an apple. Also, as he walked, he was making noises like those of a big river boat. He would shout loudly, then he would say, "Ding dong dong," like a bell. Then he would shout again and say, "Ding dong dong," again, and make other strange noises. He was the boat, and he was the captain of the boat, and he was the boat bell. All the noises he used to make out from his own mouth. "Turn here," he shouted. "Slow her, stop." He made a slow, careful turn, came close beside Tom and stopped. Tom continued his painting. He did not look at the boat because he was busy painting, so he didn't look at the. Ben said, "Hello, you are in trouble?" No answer. Tom moved his brush gently and looked at the result. Ben came nearer. Tom wished for the apple, but he did not turn from his work. Again Ben said, "Hello, you must work, must you?" Tom turned suddenly. "Oh Ben, it's you, is it? I did not see you. I am going swimming. I am. Do you wish you could go with me, or would you rather work?" Now see, Ben was asking to Tom whether you want to join with me for swimming or you want to continue with your work. Tom said, "What do you mean? Work? That is work?" Tom returned to his painting. It may be work and it may Tom returned to his painting. It may be work and it may not be, but it is fine for Tom swear. "Do you mean that you enjoy it?" "Enjoy it? Does a boy have a chance to paint a fence every day? Here is a new idea." Ben stopped eating his apple. Tom moved his brush, stepped away to look at the result, added a little paint here and there, stepped away again. Ben watched. He was more and more interested. Then he said, "Tom, let me paint a little." Tom thought. Then he said, "No, Ben, Aunt Polly wants this fence to be perfect. If it was the fence behind the house, you could help. But this fence beside the street must be done very carefully. There is not one boy in 1,000 who can do it well." "Oh, Tom, let me try." Now see, Ben wants to reduce his work, so he is taking brush from him. "Only a little. I will be careful." "Tom, I will give you a part of my apple." "No, Ben, I am afraid." Means he was not ready to give it to Ben. "I will give you all of it." Tom gave the brush to Ben slowly but with joy in his heart. He was very happy that his work has been reduced, taken by somebody. And while the boy, who a few moments before he had been a riverboat worker, became hot in the sun, Tom sat under the tree eating the apple and planning how to get more help. There were enough boys. They came along the street, stopped to laugh, but remained to paint. After Ben Bill Fishers painted, then Johnny Miller came. Now see, all one by one, all friends are coming. Each one paid to be allowed to work. In the middle of the afternoon, Tom was very rich. He had many playthings, a small cat with one eye, a piece of broken blue glass, and much more. And he had not worked, and the whole fence had been painted 3 times. There was no more paint now. Paint was also over. With more paint, Tom would soon have owned everything belonging to the other boys, and the other boys in a village would have owned nothing. Tom had discovered a great law of human action. A man or a boy will desire something if it is not easy to get. Now, what do you mean by a source? Is a writing that you are writing about. What do you mean by a source? When we write about a story, poem, newspaper, article, or any other kind of writing, we call the writing we are writing about a source. In this book, we will learn the proper way to write about other people's writing. In other words, we will learn to write about sources. If your Teacher or an exam asks you to write about strong desire, wise action by Mark Twain story would be your source. Your writing would be about Mark Twain's story. We will write about strong desire, wise action in the next unit. Means what title you will give? You will give the title of this. Tom and his friends painted and polished pens to beautify their home. There are many beautiful arts in India for decorating homes as well. Rangoli is one popular decoration. On festivals, rangolis are made with many substances and colors to welcome God and guests. Just now, Diwali festival has gone, and you all might have done rangoli at your home. You might have decorated your homes. Now, what do you mean by a summary? A summary is a short piece of writing that tells the main ideas of the author of source. One kind of summary is a neutral summary. A neutral summary tells the ideas of the source's author without including any of the ideas or feelings of the person writing the summary. For example, if you write a neutral summary about O. Henry's story after 20 years, you should include O. Henry's main idea, not yours own. One way to check your writing is to think, if O. Henry read my summary, would he agree with the way I expressed his main ideas? Neutral summary is one common way of writing about sources. When you write a good neutral summary, you are describing someone else's ideas. So you need to read carefully and understand the ideas of the author before you write. When you write about a source, ask yourself, would the author agree with you? After 20 years is a great story and teaches a very important lesson that I agree with. One should never put friendship above duty. I think that one must do what is right even when it's unpleasant. Policeman in the story sees a suspicious stranger on the street and stops to talk to him. The reader can tell the stranger is not a good man when the stranger describes. Second point, you can say that the story after 20 years has a typical O. Henry twist at the end. In this one friend betrays another. The story begins with a conversation between a policeman and a man who is waiting outside a restaurant for a man he hasn't seen in 20 years. The two discuss the friend that the man is waiting for, neither the man nor the reader, now that the policeman is himself the man's friend. Third point you can say is O. Henry writes some good stories, but after 20 years is not one of them. In this one, a good friend shows up after 20 years only to be betrayed by the other friend. The story starts when policeman questions a man on the street who is waiting for the friend. The sentences that are not from neutral summary are not neutral because they show the summary writer's thoughts and feelings. Since a summary is about a source, the summary needs to tell which source you are writing about. We call it as a referencing the source. You can identify the source with the title, author's name, date of publication, place of publication, etc. You can see the headings, which type of headings are given. The first, the title is given, then author's name is given, then date of publication is given, place of publication. Referencing identifies the sources. For example, the play Romeo and Juliet, written by William Shakespeare, you might have heard, and the first performed around 1595 tells the story of, means these are the titles, how to start the referencing. Example 2, you can see the 2013 Hindu Times article, new bill puts people first, essentially said that India would treat the problem of. And the third example of referencing is the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost tells. See, you can see over here the examples are given how to reference the story. Summaries start with the main idea of the source. Many people think they can write about a source if they just start at the first paragraph of a source. Writing something, then go to the next paragraph and write something, then go on that. But this is not a good way to write about the author's ideas. The main idea of the author might be in the middle or the end of the story.